Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this new installment of the Wrestling Analyst. Tonight, I'm taking a look at what happened on the February 6th, 2023 episode of Raw from Orlando, Florida. Here we go. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this new installment of the Wrestling Analyst. Tonight, I'm taking a look at what happened on the February 6th, 2023 episode of Raw from Orlando, Florida. Here we go. So the show starts with Edge and Beth Phoenix that come to the ring and they talk about the feud between him and the Judgment Day and saying that his creation, Judgment Day, was to take wrestlers that he thought deserved more and bring them up to superstardom. And he says that it worked because look at Rhea Ripley, look at Damian Priest, look at Finn Balor right now, and they are a lot better off being in Judgment Day than before they were in Judgment Day. Rhea was there, but she was tagging with Liv Morgan. There was no real purpose in her. And then boom, she's now ready for the big time and going to probably beat Charlotte at WrestleMania. So, of course, Beth and Edge are interrupted by the Judgment Day, and they go back and forth a little bit. And Beth basically challenges Finn and Rhea. Well, Rhea was not there physically, but Beth challenges Finn and Rhea to a match at Elimination Chamber, and Finn Balor accepts. So we're going to have that at Elimination Chamber, Beth Phoenix and Edge versus Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley. Now then, Finn says if you make it to Judgment Day and they go to attack, um, Angela Street Profits come to the rescue, and segment finishes with Beth Phoenix giving a glam slam, sorry, to Dominic. So that's how this segment ends. Then we have the match: Damian Priest versus Angelo Dawkins. Match for the Elimination Chamber qualifying match. Match was very good, and uh, let's say that was a little test for Angelo Dawkins as maybe a future singles star, because we already know that Montez Ford is going to be a huge star when that team splits up. And this was to see if Dawkins could follow suit. I think he could. Dawkins is getting a lot better in the ring than he was maybe a year ago. So, but the match was very good, and Damian Priest wins with South of Heaven. So, Priest is cementing his status as a threat to the U.S. title, which he already held in the past. So let's go to the second match. Match number 2, Dexter Lumis versus Baron Corbin. Now, recently, Baron Corbin has been on a losing streak, losing to Johnny Gargano last week, and he has suffered some losses recently. And one has to wonder, putting him with JBL was a good move, but it was supposed to repackage him and build him back, and they seem like they've abandoned on the project very fast. So he lost again to Dexter Lumis, and after that, well, there was a segment with Brock Lesnar. I'm going to come back. Well, Brock Lesnar basically announces that he's going to have a match with Bobby Lashley at Elimination Chamber. And there was another match, but then there was another segment with JBL and Corbin. And JBL basically dumps Corbin, saying that my credibility is crap because of you, and you are no wrestling god. You are nothing. You can't shine crap, and that's it. Probably the association between JBL and Corbin is over, but you never know in WWE. Maybe Corbin will go back into JBL's graces. Maybe JBL did that just to shake up Corbin. But I thought that this could be a good fit for Baron Corbin. Like I said, we'll see what's going to happen next week. But I find it sad that they ditched that idea so fast, if that is what they did. So anyway, we'll go to the third match now. Women's elimination qualifying match. Four-way, fatal four-way between Candice LeRae, Piper Niven, Mia Yim, and Carmella. Now, Carmella just came back, and she was basically my favorite to win, even though Piper Niven just came back at a Rumble as well. Could have, if they wanted to push her fast, that could have been a great way to start her push uh, right then and there. But like I thought, Carmelo won the match. I don't think they see big things for Candice LeRae or Mia Yim right now. But who knows? Maybe in the future, maybe if WWE finally pulls the trigger to have a mid card title for women's, maybe they could battle for those titles. Anyway, Carmella is qualified for the uh, Elimination Chamber. Match number 4, Alpha Academy versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Now, this match was made 3 years ago when Alpha Academy and Cedric Alexander were battling for the Raw Tag Team Championship. Now, I know that was an old picture I took. It's just that I had to find one on the fly, and so that's just to illustrate that those two teams were one of the two of the best teams on Raw a couple of years ago. Now, Benjamin and Alexander were accompanied to the ring by MVP. Now, we've seen in the last few weeks that MVP is kind of trying to reunite the Hurt Business. And him being with Alexander and Benjamin ringside is kind of saying that the Hurt Business is reuniting. That would be good. That would be great, because I think WWE dropped the ball on that faction some time ago when they didn't do as much as they could have back then. So, and now if they reunite the whole Hurt Business, Alexander, Benjamin, Lashley, and Omos with MVP, they're going to be even more powerful than they were. So anyway, back to the match itself. Alexander and Benjamin wins the match. So that's just to illustrate now that they're back as a tag team. They've been teaming a couple of times since the last few weeks. So uh, that was a great team. That was a great team. Alexander and Benjamin. Benjamin is so good in the ring. He's so underrated. And Gable, Otis are very good as well. And Gable is a machine. But anyway, so that's it for this match. Uh, Alexander and Benjamin are finding their cohesion back, and predictably enough, they won this match. So let's go to the next one. Match number 5, Chelsea Green versus Asuka. Now, Chelsea Green, since she came back, she's annoying Adam Pearce and demanding special treatment, and so I guess that's going to be the persona for Chelsea Green, always asking for privilege uh, and getting stomped or screwed over or having unpleasant surprises all the time. So I think it's going to be good, and Chelsea Green is going to be better for that in the future. Right now, uh, she's getting stomped over, and it's just good. Uh, so, and that's the first singles match since Asuka's return. I'll come back to Asuka. Uh, Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalia, Nikki Cross, and Carmella are all ringside to witness the match because Asuka is in the Elimination Chamber with all of them. Chelsea Green is dominating a match at first, so that's a good outing for Chelsea Green, especially against Asuka. And after Green runs her mouth on everyone ringside, you see Asuka lurking behind her, just waiting for her to turn around. And when she does, man, Asuka just massacres her. And blow after blow, back fist after back fist. That was awesome from Asuka. I'm so happy to see that finally WWE is pulling the trigger on Asuka, and big time. And I hope they continue to do that. I hope they make her win the Elimination Chamber and go on to WrestleMania and beat Bianca Belair for the title. And she can hold on to that title for a long time. I hope that's what they have in store for Asuka. She is so good. I know people don't like her, but man, that girl is good. Anyway, so Asuka wins with a new submission hold, and man, that the body's not made to bend that way. Oh, Chelsea Green must have had pain in her shoulders or something. But anyway, it seems like Asuka will finally be booked as the unbeatable version she was in NXT. I hope that's what we see because that run, an Asuka run, was so good, and the matches she had back in NXT were incredible. Just the series of matches against Ember Moon back then. If you haven't seen them, go see them. That was Asuka at her best. So anyway, Asuka is back, and I hope she gets a big push. Let's go on to the next segment. So usually I don't do a video for a whole segment, but I think this one deserves it. It was a segment between Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman. Man, what a emotion-filled segment that was. Now, first of all, Cody addresses the elephant in the room, which is the possibility of facing Sami Zayn at WrestleMania. that would be a good match, but it won't happen. Unfortunately, I love Sammy. He's a fellow Quebecer, and I would love him to have the title. I would love for him to have the title, but it won't happen this time. Now, uh, of course, he talks about Roman Reigns, and he gets interrupted by Paul Heyman. Heyman comes in the ring, shakes Cody's hand, and congratulates him for winning the Rumble. Now, Cody goes on and he talks about what Heyman did for his father back when Heyman was the owner of ECW, and that the time that Dusty was having a hard time bringing in money for his family and everything. And Heyman asked for Dusty to be at a show on that evening and paid him good money and everything. And that kind of restarted Dusty Rhodes as a wrestling backstage promoter or something, or trainer or whatever. And then Heyman went on to talk about Dusty to Cody and how how Dusty loved Cody and everything. So you can see the emotions in that segment were true, were real. And I'm convinced that all they said was probably true. We have a saying in the wrestling world that 95% of what happens in wrestling is a work, and the other 5% becomes a work at some point. So that segment was so good. And the only thing I think that wasn't true in that segment was when Heyman said that Roman is the son that Cody always wanted. Not Cody, but Dusty always wanted. I think that's the only thing that wasn't genuine, that wasn't true in that segment. But man, that was a good segment. And that's why I took the time to make a video sequence just on that segment. Usually I just talk about one between matches and everything. So anyway, let's go to the next match. So another Elimination Chamber qualifying match for the U.S. title, Montez Ford versus Elias. Well, pretty good match between the two of them. Elias is putting on a good performance, which is always good. And we all know that the day the Street Profits split up, Montez is going to be on to superstardom. So that guy has superstar written all over him. So Montez Ford wins the match and wins his spot at the Elimination Chamber. And after the match, Theory shows off on the announce table because he was doing commentary. And Rollins just comes, trips him, and Theory falls on the table, falls on the floor, and Rollins does his curb stomp on him just to fuel the rivalry even more. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in the Elimination Chamber, for which I'm going to have my predictions video up during next week. Probably I'll try to do it on Thursday before the episode of SmackDown on next Friday night. So we'll see. And now let's go to the main event. So, main event of the evening, steel cage match between Becky Lynch and Bayley. It was a steel cage match. What can you say? So, cage spots all over. Match was good. And at one point, of course, at the end of the match, Io and Dakota try to come and help Bayley, but Lita, of all people, comes to the rescue. Now, Lita? Okay, so that means that there's something going on with Lita heading into WrestleMania. So Lita being involved with Becky Lynch and Damage Control. That might lead to a 6-woman tag team not tag team championship, but that I think that's going to lead to a 6-woman tag match at WrestleMania. Damage Control versus Becky Lynch, Lita, and somebody else. So I'll come back to that later. Lita slams the door on Bayley, who walks right into a manhandle slam and Becky wins the match that way. Now, Becky winning the match is good because she has her revenge on Bayley. Now, does Bayley lose anything in that? Not whatsoever, because it was Lita's interference that made her lose. So who's gonna be like New Day would say, who? Who's gonna be the third woman in that match, in that possible match at WrestleMania? Becky Lynch, Lita versus and someone else versus Dakota Kai, Io Sky, and Bayley at WrestleMania. Expect something to happen at the Elimination Chamber, and it's going to be revealed. Maybe it's going to be revealed who the third wheel, let's say, of that team with Lita and Lynch is going to be. And I suspect it could be Trish Stratus. So here it is. We'll see how things develop from now on. I still have some catching up to do on my Raw videos and my SmackDown videos due to my computer problems I had. I have, let's say, 7 episodes to catch up, 3 of Raw and 4 to SmackDown for SmackDown right now. So I'm going to try to catch up on this. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video of the last episode that I saw, and then I'm going to do some of my backlog. So I'm going to try to catch up like that so I can start doing videos for NXT in the near future, going up to Stand and Deliver. So anyway, have a nice evening. Hope you like this video. Click like, subscribe, turn on the notification, and if you want, help me get my audience up. Talk about the Wrestling Analyst to your friends, and hopefully we can get this community up in the thousands, maybe in the tens of thousands eventually, and hope we ride along until then. Have a nice evening.